Welcome to
I'm
Real
waiting to
Geek
see.
Media. It is November 14th, 2024. We are here today to talk about the Terminator. We are here with Christopher Michael Blake. We are here with our special guest, Travis Christopher, and I am Hayden Stoll. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Better now that my mic is actually working.
Hayden, I work at as a waitress in a coffee shop where me and in 1984 we could afford a 2-bedroom apartment for me and my roommate. Unlike
Nice.
today where we couldn't afford the outhouse.
I spend my nights hanging out at Tech Noir, dancing to catchy 80s synth.
Yeah, with my iguana.
So again, we are here to talk about the Terminator tonight, but again, we're joined by Travis Christopher. Travis, why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Hey guys, can you hear me all right? I wasn't able to do a mic check. I had to go through every electronic I own in order to get this to load up, like literally. So I'm glad I was finally able to join you. Um, so yeah, I am a Marine Corps veteran who does stand up, and in the last 2 years, I actually just started to act as well.
Congratulations. What kind of prompted you to be a stand-up comedian and an actor?
I started dabbling in comedy when I was stationed in Camp Pendleton, California. I realized that while serving, that everything was always so serious all the time that we needed some laughter. And through a bunch of drunken personal mishaps that I would tell the fellas about, it really started to resonate with them. And during a dark time, I decided to hit an open mic night and discovered my love for making people laugh.
Awesome.
So now I have a question. Did they ever call you Private Joker?
They did not, because I would have smacked the explicit out of them, to be honest.
Oh man, there you go.
You gotta
You know,
admit, you laughed when I said that, though.
It's funny you bring up Full Metal Jacket. I actually was talking to one of my coworkers about Full Metal Jacket, and specifically the scene with the soap and the sock. We have this one staff member who always is making mistakes, and it's just like, got to get him in line. Soap and the sock. Everybody gets a turn. But yeah, we're going to talk about Full Metal Jacket another day. We're going to talk today about the Terminator, James Cameron's 1984 sci-fi action film featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, and Michael Biehn, with some nice little cameos from Lance Hendrickson and Paul Winfield as the police officers. You guys remember the first time you saw this movie?
No.
No?
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
I do. It was in 1997, and it was playing in a drive-through theater in Vineland, New Jersey, because it was one of the first drive-in movies I ever went to before they started falling out.
Nice. And how was that experience seeing this at the drive-through?
Sorry, I'm just kind of adjusting. I actually made a makeshift desk at my table, but it was cramped because me and all my brothers were there. At the time, I had 3 older brothers and my mom, and it was quite uncomfortable. Everyone stuffed in the car, but you know what? We made it work.
There you go.
And then also in that, the funniest thing is, as soon as it opened up, I liked the fact that at the beginning there was Bill Paxton in the very beginning.
Yes.
Even before you
Yes.
recognize him, he smashes a beer bottle over a telescope, and I thought that was the funniest thing in the world.
Yes, Bill Paxton. Yes.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up, but nobody ever remembers the other bad guy who's the punk guy. And
Brian Thompson.
he was the bad guy in Cobra.
Yeah, that was Brian Thompson.
Yeah. No one ever mentions him. It's like, oh, he's kind of forgotten. A huge run on the Star Trek TV shows too. It's like a Klingon and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat as well.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's got one of those pop marked kind of faces. It's like he's not like a guy you actually want to look at. It's like, what kind of happened to him? But he'll be at probably the sideshow in New Jersey looking for me.
There you go.
He'll find you.
Yeah, well, for an obese guy, I run pretty quick. But it's funny you mentioned, because the claim to fame for Bill Paxton is he was the first guy killed by a predator, an alien, and the Terminator, right? Mm-hmm. But no one ever talks about Dick Miller, who's in the movie, selling the firearms to Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is the only person I'm aware of who was killed by both the Terminator and a gremlin.
Yes. That I think is a trickier one to do than the Paxton trifecta. Because there's only been 2 Gremlins movies
so far. And
yeah, but he got it in a lot too. They got him in Chopping Mall too.
Chopping Mall, yes.
I haven't seen that in years.
Love that movie.
Haven't seen that in years.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. I like him.
Yeah.
Night of the Creeps, and what was the one with River Phoenix and all the little kids in there? Oh, The Alien. Another good movie. He's just a good actor. A really good actor. It's funny because we were talking about Dick Miller earlier this year with Gremlins.
We did. Yep, we did.
So, Travis, if I could ask you, do you find any comedic value in anything that happened in the Terminator? Is there one part in the movie you sit there and say, that was actually pretty funny, or if I was going to do stand-up, I would kind of point to that this kind of happened, or I don't want to put you on the spot.
I could easily talk about just a simple portrayal of him walking up naked and then making jokes. But honestly, I would go with the batshit crazy when Linda Hamilton's character and just the face she's making as Michael Biehn is just laying everything out for her, and her facial expressions, like you could deliver jokes and everything else, but sometimes you need to throw out facial expressions, because if you're too serious, the crowd's not going to feel it. And for someone who's very baritone like me, once I have a mic on, I become very animated. I don't usually show it off. As I get on stage, it's like as soon as the mic's in my hand, I become animated. My voice goes more high-pitched. But when you look at the facial expressions that she's given him, like, this man is out his motherfucking mind. And you're just like, I feel you, girl. I feel you. Like, they're all making fun of her as they go through the Sarah Chronicles. You're dead. Well, not you, but you're dead. And showing her the TV. The facial expressions on her friend that's a waitress was also very good. But it's kind of like a whole thing, because you don't want to be too standoffish. And in the very beginning, that was my problem. I had to adjust so people didn't take me as seriously.
Wow. How about you, Hayden? What did you get most out of Terminator, or the movie? What did you like? What didn't you like?
I think the concept of it is really good. Like, just the Sheen from the future trying to kill this rebel leader from the past, or his mother, so he's never born, and the resistance from that time period sends a warrior back to stop that from. I think there's so many possibilities with that. It's a really cool, I guess, an angle to make your movie out of. 1984 special effects are really like, we're going to do it in the backyard. Some of the Arnie pulling his eye out, and you can tell the whole thing's a rubber mask. But there's at one point where he's in the club and he's ready to shoot her, and then next thing you know, the rest of the movie he's got like spiky punk hair, Like his hairstyle totally changes after that point, and it's so funny. But like some of the things that James Cameron tried in this, like when you see the flashbacks of the future world and the soldiers just struggling to survive, and it's just that really grim and dark scenario, and what he did with those was pretty good for 1984. That looks pretty good, right? You look at it now, you rewatch it, it's like, gosh, this looks like really like ugh. But for back then, what he's trying to get across, I thought it was pretty solid. The man is a really a visionary. When you look at some of obviously his filmography, he's got tons of movies that are visionary films. And we were talking about Avatar offline before, and whatever you feel about that film, there's a lot of groundbreaking effects happening in that, and people show up to see that kind of stuff. But this lays the groundworks for like his imagination. The Linda Hamilton performance is interesting. It really is. I don't know what other way you could say it. I think Michael Biehn is great in this movie. He's earning his money, freaking out and taking it all, very seriously. I do find the scene in the police station where they are interviewing him, and you have the psychologist or psychiatrist there, and he's just like, I can make a career out of this guy. Like, he's nuts. Look at him. I thought that was great.
Just sitting there eating it up. He's like, popcorn.
He is loving it. He's loving it in the background. It's so good. It's so funny. But that's like, one of those light moments in this movie. Like, he's trying to sell this as a serious thing, but it has that moment of just kind of, you're feeling what this guy's feeling. It's like, this guy's nuts. He's lost his mind. And I think for me, like that scene, the police shootout scene, is probably my favorite part of this movie. It's just like the dude just walks into the police station and just wipes everything out. And that is the scene I always go back to and remember as a kid when I watch this. Is he just goes in there, he's got the two rifles and just going to town on all the cops. It's pretty intense, pretty cool. I mean, I like it. I like watching it again. I was like, man, I could fast forward through some of this because I've seen this movie so many times. So I'm watching the abridged version, skipping.
How many times? I gotta know. How many times have you seen it?
It's got to be like 30 plus.
Yeah.
Like this is a film like up there with Aliens, Predator, and the original Star Wars that were just on rotation as a kid.
So now I do have some things to add to this. And the first is how James Cameron came up with the idea for the Terminator. Are you guys aware of how he came up with the idea?
I may have known at one point, but I think I've forgotten.
So
there's a little.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
There is a little controversy about where they took certain elements out of Outer Limits, and it led because of a lawsuit. And then James Cameron said, no, it's different. Let's not settle. And then they still settled for an undisclosed amount, but he said it was a totally original idea. So that's why it gets a little murky, especially back then.
So the way I understood it, and I read this on IMDb, so just take that for what it's worth. He was in Italy filming Piranha 2. And he had no money to his name because he wasn't famous yet. And he got severely sick because he wasn't eating because he didn't have any money. And he develops this very high fever. And he's in the midst of this high fever. He dreams that all the silverware and appliances in his kitchen begin to come alive and start trying to chase him down. Yes, as like the end of the scene where the Terminator's trying to kill Linda Hamilton. And he wanted to start filming the movie in 2049, not in present day, but because he didn't have the budget to do that, he had to take the metal robot and transplant him, the cyborg, back to present day. That's what's on IMDb, so take that again for what it's worth. The second thing I want to kind of point out is, imagine you're Reese. James Connor's going to send you back time. You're going to meet the love of your life. You're going to get laid finally.
Finally.
Well, yes. I mean, that's what it is, right? I mean, You got to be my father. You got to save humanity. This is your opportunity. He comes through the lightning bolt. He's hurt. And the first thing he does is he rips a pair of shitty pants off some homeless guy and mugs him. And he's running around in those pants.
What year is it?
What day? Yeah, I know. But imagine having to put those shitty drawers. And then the old guy's like, the homeless, he took my pants. I mean, the ones you shit in, those are the ones.
That's it.
You know,
Hey,
so
we're getting close to that. Remember, 2029 is only 4 years off, and everyone's talking AI. This could be happening real soon.
It's scary because some of the news articles, I don't know if you're going to stick around for the news or not, Travis, when we wrap this up. You're more than welcome to. But some of the articles that we've been covering on Real Geek Media are just very crazy with AI and how it's kind of taken over communities and taking jobs away from people. And how much longer do you think it is before AI sees this as a threat? What do you think?
I probably quickly. I've read a little bit a few years back when AI, I think Microsoft or Google made two machines that made their own language to communicate, and they immediately killed it. And that was when they first started. I just don't like the concept of machines can be good. AI can be good. Not near weapon systems, not near drones, not near anything like that. Let's keep that man-made. You want AI to help you back into a parking space, maybe, or help you cheat on your history tests like all the people in high school right now, or all the lawyers that are getting in trouble with the bar because they're using ChatGPT to help them with their cases. Do that, but let's leave it out of self-defense and military systems.
Yeah.
What do you think there, Hayden?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. I mean, it is a tool. It can be used for some trivial things like Travis laid out. But military, I mean, Travis, you're a veteran. I say a scenario that would make you just absolutely like shit your pants is just seeing like a swarm of drones. Like would that not be just like, oh my God, like we're all dead?
Well, I have a friend that's an actual drone pilot, but it's all handheld. It's not AI. So that I will trust. Because when I was an aviation operations specialist. So the helicopter that we had was the Sea Knight, the CH-46 Echo. There was no AI. It was very old school. It's been through like every single war. There's nothing fancy on it. But with these drones, I know you want to make them safer and everything. And they say AI can calculate a billion thoughts per second, but you'll never have that human experience pull back at the last second. Don't bomb that area because you're too close to civilians. That is where ethics and morals for me would take over instead of something like that's your target, take it out at any cost. That doesn't seem right to me. That seems morally wrong to me.
Yeah. And that's a scenario, like you said, trivial tasks as an assist function, but like when you have, lives in the balance and, those human elements that come to play, like nothing AI should be involved with things like that at all. This cautionary tale of the Terminator.
When Skynet becomes aware.
So here's my thought, right? So Miles Dyson, we learn in T2, is the guy that finds the arm and the chip, whatever, and he's the one that ends up creating Skynet. Now we have Dyson vacuums, and I think they got it wrong. I think it's going to be the vacuums that are going to be the first thing, not the drones. The vacuums are going to come alive. The air dryers in the bathrooms at the movie theater.
Are you saying like maximum overdrive?
Yes, you're gonna stick your hands in the air dryers, the Dyson air blades in the AMC theaters, and it's gonna go scorching hot, and you melt your hands off. AI's had it. They've had it with your popcorn butter in the bathroom. They don't want it, and the vacuums are just gonna take over and start sucking people up like The Happening, an M. Night Shyamalan film. right under
Then I
it.
get attacked by a soda machine.
Yeah, there you go. But Maximum Overdrive is exactly that. Exactly that. Just heads popping under the tires.
Now, I want to ask both of you: is there ever going to be a big a star as Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, everybody, I guess nowadays is all about The Rock. The Rock, he's like the next big thing, but
He's not even
I don't
close.
think. Yeah,
He's not even gonna touch it.
no.
And he's
No.
like, he's in his mid-50s, right? He's never gonna touch Arnie.
I like The Rock. I wish him nothing but the best, but I wouldn't even put him in my top 5, to be honest. And that's no disrespect to him.
Yeah.
Don't find me and whoop my ass. But no, I'm sorry. Like, it's gotta be Arnie, Sylvester, and Bruce Willis. To me, made me feel like a dad bod could be a hero. Like, I'm a father now. I want to be him.
Yeah.
But
You had all
are the
those.
stars.
I'm sorry, Travis Scott.
Yeah, even Mel Gibson had his run, but even him, he wasn't even in the stratosphere as Arnold.
Yeah. Arnie's the biggest movie star on the planet in the 80s and 90s. Like, it's not even close. Everything was like an event. Schwarzenegger movie. Everything was an event. They would even work in his I'll Be Back into other movies that he's in. Right. The dude was just huge. And Stallone was right there with him. Right. There are no action stars today. There aren't. Right. We had Seagal, we had Van Damme. Now
Statham?
Statham might be the only one now. He might be the only one. Now they try and manufacture like, we're gonna make like Tom Holland like this exciting young action star and put him in Uncharted, and he looks like he's 12.
I didn't mind Uncharted. I thought that was a pretty good movie.
I'm not making fun of that movie. I just don't buy him as that character.
I'd agree with you on that one. You look like you're 12 years old whooping everyone's ass.
No.
And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, because I had a baby face and then one day I just grew old overnight. But he still looks like he could be Spider-Man for the next like 10, 12 years. Easy.
Yeah.
But so does Tobey Maguire. So does the other guy. I mean, all three of them look like they could do it. Yeah, and all three of those guys could look like they could still do it. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but Arnie was like, and I think what they realized with him is in this movie, right? He could do all the physical, imposing. He looks menacing. He doesn't need to say a lot, right? And he got to the point as an actor where he could do the dialogue, right? As good as Arnie can do it. But in this movie, he didn't need it, right? He was very scary, just blank look on his face, like a dead-eyed look. And every time he'd knock on the door, Sarah Connor, and, pop the gun with the laser sight right in their face. Not
just
one,
when you see
not
on the
two.
shelf, pal. Just when you see on the shelf. Okay?
Yeah. He's like, let me get the plasma rifle, fourth one. He's like, hey, bud, just what's on the shelf.
I think I'm going to close up the shop today. It's going to be a pretty good day.
Upon the rewatch, I saw that. And I'm like, he doesn't really say much. I looked it up. He only had 17 lines. Less than 100 words.
Wow, okay.
That might have been the most dialogue he had was when he was in the gun store.
Yeah, I think it was.
Now,
with Dick Miller.
Mm-hmm.
I have another question for you guys. This one's a little far-fetched, but bear with me. How did Rick Rossovich not have a bigger acting career than what he had?
Make me bust you up, man.
I mean, look, he was in the movie. He was in the movie, Navy SEALs.
Yeah, I remember him.
Another Michael Biehn movie, Charlie Sheen.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie. Bill Paxton's in there.
He was in Top Gun too.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
But how did he not?
Me too.
How did he not have a bigger acting career? I mean, the guy was well-built, good-looking guy.
Yeah. That's a good question, Matt.
Luck, maybe.
Yeah.
Because you could be talented and good looking, but you also need just a little bit of luck too. Remember, Sylvester Stallone was sleeping on park benches. This was a big role for Arnold Schwarzenegger. But when he was given his interview for Conan the Destroyer, he's like, "Yeah, I just started filming this movie. I took their shoes. It's just another movie." And then he goes on to say, after watching the first 20 minutes of it, this just changed my career. Sometimes you just need that special luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
True. Very true.
Wow.
Those characters, the Matt and whatever the roommate's name was, like that scene where
Nina, something like that.
Yeah, when they're in the apartment and he's laying in bed, she's making him a sandwich, and she's got like this gigantic sandwich. He looked like he was sound asleep, right? Like she's making him this sandwich like this big with like a gigantic glass of milk. I said, the dude's sleeping. You gotta wake him up here, eat this. And then like he's having this whole fight for his life in the bedroom. Make me bust you up, man, with the lamp. Oh God! Like they could have brought him back in the sequels. Like, yeah, she killed my girl. Gonna get.
That's why I'm
vengeance on
glad
him.
they brought back the psychiatrist, because they
Oh,
brought him
yeah.
back for that, and
Yes.
they also brought him back for the Sarah Connor Chronicles, I believe, as well.
Oh, he was in that.
I believe he was the doctor. It was only one episode in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
He's so good. Like even in the second one, like he's great. And that whole scene at the institution, great. It's so funny. Yeah. But Linda Hamilton for me was the weakest of the actors in this. I don't know what her experience was. It's if she was on like soap operas or like television shows. I'm not really sure, but I don't know.
How big of a deal was it? Do you think that she went topless for the movie, though?
Well, he married her.
James Camp. Oh, eventually, yes.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
until after
eventually.
the sequel, though.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, because back then it was more or less, if you could go like the Jamie Lee Curtis thing for Trading Places.
Right.
We're not really sold on you as an actress because we see you as in the horror genre. Oh, but the fact that you're willing to go topless kind of makes us want to put you in this movie because it's going to draw people in to watch the movie.
Right.
And I wonder how much of that was for Linda Hamilton.
Hmm.
Because there's a brief nudity scene with her and Kyle.
In the 80s, I mean, that was like a commonplace thing, though. I mean, this stuff was like popping up
Can we please
everywhere.
bring it back? Can we
Everywhere.
please bring it back?
everywhere. You'd see that stuff.
Yeah, but you gotta love that 80s hair metal. That whole 80s hair. It's just a vibe.
Oh man,
As you
yeah.
can tell, we ain't got that, but
I'm follically challenged, by the way. That's just,
She definitely had some wild stuff going on with the hair. Like it was, I don't know. I don't even know what you would call it. Because it was like just looked like a mop.
yeah, but her transition from kind of soft, and then she tried to tighten up towards the end.
Yes.
But it led to a great transition into the second one. Because in the second one,
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry, it's a toss up between her and Sigourney Weaver. Like those two were like neck and neck for the strong, beautiful, I'm gonna whoop somebody's ass role, and that's really how you make a strong female lead. Like I believe that in any day of the week.
See, I feel like we had plenty of that in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. You had Sigourney Weaver and Carrie Fisher. You had Linda Hamilton. We had plenty of them, and they were well written. That's, I think, the biggest issue with what you see with a lot today. We had spoken when we talked about Furiosa, Christopher. They force it upon you sometimes, and these were, naturally well written, well directed characters that you could get behind and root for. As a man, you could get behind and root for, right?
I'm going to disagree with you on one thing, Hayden. Just one. And it's one specific actress. You guys may or may not disagree, but she was hot as sin. She's batshit crazy. They all are. Well, they are. And then, but she was, I guess it was the year 2000 from there on in. That would be Angelina Jolie. The Tomb Raider movies, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Again, hot as sin, batshit crazy. And she's still going through the world's longest divorce with Brad Pitt. But, it is
That
what
will
it is.
never end.
Oh no, they're going after each other's for the winery now. It's like, oh, it's
Not the winery, not the winery,
children, like
not the winery.
I mean, again, just hot as sin. But those Tomb Raider movies, the first two, you look at the cast in those: Gerard Butler, the guy from Game of Thrones. It's got a good cast. It's got a decent plot. Not the best special effects and everything, but
those were big movies. They were big movies.
And she could have kept continuing to do. Look, there's a reason why they didn't do another sequel on the last Tomb Raider, because it sucked. Yeah. The chick wasn't. I had to say that she wasn't hot enough, but it's just. Yeah. You're trying to fill Angelina Jolie's shoes, and you couldn't kind of do it.
Yeah.
Gaming movies itself is kind of hard. There haven't been many successful ones, but Angelina Jolie was every boy's fantasy at that time.
Yep.
Oh, she used to walk around with the vial of Billy Bob's blood.
I remember that. Oh my God. I didn't believe it at first. And then I read it in some magazine in my dentist's office. I'm like, that can't be a thing, can it?
Craziness.
I'm trying to get my wife to walk around with a canister of my sperm, but it's not going to work it out.
There you go. There you go.
So, you guys want to talk final thoughts on Terminator before we cover the box office? Good movie, bad movie? What do you think in general? Is it the strongest of the franchise? Is it not the strongest of the franchise? What's your opinion?
I'm biased on that one. Everyone actually likes the Terminator 2 more, but because I saw it in the backseat of a car when you're a kid with family and you don't have those experiences anymore, everything is streaming, everything is watching it at home. I'm going to go with number one. I don't care that she wasn't as tough as she was yet. The graphics were good. I actually wrote it down, but it was Fantasy 2. Special effects that were used for it, they did a hell of a job, especially with the stop motion. Mm-hmm. How they put it together, how they just knocked it out of the park. For the time, you just really can't beat it.
Yep. I definitely love this movie. Go see it if you've never seen it. I can't imagine anybody who's never seen this movie yet at this point. This is like entry level into Arnold Schwarzenegger. This and Conan, I guess. Absolutely go see it. For me, it's T2, then this one. Not to take anything away from this movie. It's great. It's great.
So this is just my opinion, and take it for what it's worth. Paul Winfield in this movie does not get enough credit. The scene where he's stressing out, they got the two dead girls, and Lance, he's sitting there with the cigarette, and he goes, "Somebody get me a cigarette." And he looks down, and he sees he already has one. I guarantee you that probably was not scripted, and they probably left it in there. It was just, it's a wonderful line, and the whole when he's showing her the body armor is like, and they're having the whole discourse with he's on PCP and probably broke every hand in his body, in his hand.
Oh yeah, Lance Henriksen said that. Yeah.
But that whole Paul, hey, this is a very comfortable sofa. That whole scene, with Paul Winfield, his minor role in this film really lends credence to what's going on in the shootout and everything. I'm with Travis on this one. Gotta go T1. And for me, it's a lot more simpler. Nobody wants to see a good Terminator. He's the Terminator for a reason. Let him kill people. That's what he wants to do. Give him the courage to go do that.
And even though that facial paint towards the end didn't look as good when he was doing his little transition, other than that, all the practical effects, the lightning, the explosions, the makeup, the gun pellets, it all looked pretty damn good for 1984.
Sure did.
A lot better than most of the stuff today.
Yeah.
That's CGI. I tell you, that's just, the CGI
But
stuff.
there is something to be said about actual scale models and the way they're shot, and that lends something to the realism of it. Like when you see those drones flying, and they have that, I guess, green screen in with the car that they're in shooting back and forth. I mean, it looks great. It really does. You look at stuff today. We were, I was talking about the Captain America Brave New World trailer, and it looks awful. Like everything looks like a video game. It doesn't look real at all. None of it. They don't even try to make it appear that it's real. There's something to be said for practicality.
Yeah, and that's something that you lose along with the sequels. Not 2, because 2 was still practical, and when they made the T1000 with that special alloy, that still holds up today.
Yeah. Yep.
But in every sequel past 2, it's just way too much.
Yeah.
And you waste all your money on this CGI when all the practical effects still hold up.
Yep.
Let's blend them. Let's not pick either or. Let it be a tool to be used. Kind of like AI. Don't let it take over, but use enough of it to help guide you along your way.
A little bit of disagreement. I got to tell you, I like the last Terminator movie. What was it, Genesis? The one where they had the old Terminator running around. And
I stopped after the third one.
I've seen them all. Are you talking? No, not Genesis or Dark Fate.
Dark Fate might be
that. Might have been it.
Yeah.
Again, I get them all confused because a lot of them are terrible. But I actually didn't mind. They are. A lot of them do get very campy, and they're not very good to watch. But I actually liked the last one that was put out. I thought it was a nice homage. They brought back. It started off with a nice inciting incident. I'll tell you that, where you got John Connor getting killed in the first 2 minutes of the movie. And it's kind of like, well, wow, okay, that's definitely a new take on this, because it's like an alternate reality and all these different stuff's kind of going on. And it's like the what if's going to happen next. So I kind of enjoyed that. But Travis, if you're not aware, we run a game here on Real Geek Media. It's called Box Office. So the way this works is there's 3 movies. We're going to talk about them briefly. They're coming out in the next 2 weeks in the theaters. We're just going to guess how much money you think they're going to pull in the box office on opening weekend only.
Weekend only. Okay.
Opening weekend only. So we're going to review last week because me and Hayden, we have a championship belt that's kind of verbal only. And Hayden took the belt from me last week after my 2-week title reign. I was very upset with him. So we got to find out who kind of won and then what we're going into this week. So the 4 movies we reviewed last week were Here with Tom Hanks. Hayden, you guessed 33 million. Roz guessed 52, and I guessed 25. Actual retail number was only 5 million, which is a terrible opening weekend for.
Yeah, that's bad.
For a Tom Hanks movie, I would have said opening weekend 10 million.
Yeah, again, you would have won, but again, it only did 5. I wonder if the Apple streaming and the fact that no one went to go see this,
and it wasn't. Think like there were not a lot of trailers for it either, but the streaming definitely killed it. I think
that's the hard thing is because you want to. It's hard to guess a box office when they do like they did with the Black Widow movie, how they did it half in the theater, half on streaming, and that kind of throws it off.
Yep.
But nobody has Apple TV. So, I mean, that's the one, like, nobody ever has that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. The second movie was The Heretic with Hugh Grant. Hayden, you guessed 9 million. I'm sorry, you guessed 12. I guessed 9. The actual retail number was 11. You won that one, Hayden. So we kind of tied right there, 1-1. The next one was the Liam Neeson movie that no one went to go see, Absolution. Hayden, you came up with the awful number 8 million. I came up with 3. The actual retail number was 1.3.
Oh shit!
Less than 3.
For Liam Neeson, 72 years old.
Liam Neeson. I ain't even gonna front. Like he might be the same in every single movie. I don't care. I will watch him
If you saw the trailer for this last one, you might disagree with that last assessment. You might be like, I might want to stay home for this one. And the last one was the best Christmas pageant ever, which is a family movie I played you the trailer for. Looks really good. Hayden, you guessed 35 million. I guessed 23. We were both way off. 10 million. Hayden, give me back my belt.
Man, that we were way off on that one.
Look. The fact that you almost hit Heretic, almost right on the nose, is you were right on the budget with that one. Man. So we're going to the 3 movies for this week. We're going to start with the one that's getting the most awful reviews. We kind of talked about this before the show today. The Rock and Chris Evans save Santa Claus with the giant polar bear. The reviews for this thing are terrible. Hey, what'd you say the budget for this thing was?
The budget's $250 million.
Now, is that including them promotions or just for the movie itself?
That's not including promotions. It's more with that.
I get confused with that because sometimes they tell you with the promotion, sometimes they tell you without it. So you're like, oh yeah, you at least got your money back, and then like, no, that's without the funding. I wish they'd give you the numbers because you know how Hollywood can kind of fudge those numbers a little bit. But my daughter wants to see that movie, so she's at least getting like $100 out of me because those movies ain't cheap anymore.
Yeah,
no, they're not.
And that's the age range, right? Like you're gonna get a kid to see the trailer. That's what they want to happen, right? As an adult, you're like, oh man, I'll bring an airplane bottle with me on this one because it ain't gonna be good.
Hayden, give me the number.
Here's the thing, right? Okay, holiday movie. This movie, you can't go anywhere without bumping into the trailer for this. Okay. I'm gonna go 38.
Wow, good number. Travis, you want to go next?
Yeah. That's who's the second lead with that?
Captain America.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans and The Rock. Holiday season
J.J. Simmons,
ramping
is that
up.
what it is?
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons, yeah.
I'm going to go, I think 17 million.
All right, so this is kind of where I'm at here. By all due respect, this should be a complete and utter bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, basically, you almost want to roll the stink bombs into the theater and watch the people run out screaming for help. And Hayden, if I could bet one more dollar than you, I would do that this week. If we were on The Price is Right, that's what I would do. I would go 38.1. So I got to do that to you. I got to go 39.
39?
Oh, yeah. I'm not getting to get away with that easy. Again, you're absolutely right. Big holiday movie, big stars, big budget. I think you'll see it fall way off. It's not going to have the kind of running legs that Venom's had for the last 3 weeks.
It's going off a cliff.
Yeah. I'll start you off. I'll give you the next one, though. We got, and we're going to be covering this in the news, by the way, too. In my opinion, was probably going to be the biggest movie of the year. Wicked, starring the hottie herself, Ariana Grande. I seen this movie. It looks terrible. However, there's a huge push for a lot of people, a lot of females who saw this on Broadway that love the books. I'm going to go 58 million on this.
Can I interject something real quick? I know you want to put that in, but that movie also just got into some trouble as well, twice. Mm-hmm. So you might want to factor that in. I'm not trying to steer anyone any which way. But between the actors coming out against the poster that they made, she did not care for it. How they gave an homage. She pushed back against the fans. You don't want to ever alienate your fans. And then on top of that, the Wicked toys on the box of their toys that they're selling in the store had a link to a porn site.
I was going to cover that during our news segment. So no, you're good. No, you're good. Well, if you want, I'll pull the article now.
I just want to give you clarity so that
I don't.
We might as well.
Any of that matters. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. I don't think any of that matters. That's just my opinion on this. Is if you're a fan of The Wizard of Oz, which millions and millions and millions of people are, and you love going to see this movie on the show on Broadway, those two things are not going to deter you from going to see this. So here we go. This is from Breitbart. Wicked is sorry. The Mattel deeply regrets printing porn site on dolls for Ariana Grande movie.
Whoops.
Yeah, Mattel customers have received an apology from the toy maker after they were inadvertently directed to a pornographic website rather than its new line of Wicked dolls. Now, let me ask you guys a question, because I know, Hayden, I know you collect action figures, and you know I do too. I don't know if you do or not, Travis. If you could find one of these dolls with the misprint label on there for a pornographic website, does that increase its value?
Yes.
Knowing that it's limited production.
Absolutely, yes. That will be a collector's item.
Mm-hmm.
And people say, oh, you said that about Hess trucks. And I'm like, yeah, but when you think about it, like a legit children's toy giving you that link, and I know all the moms at my daughter's school were talking about it. I think it's the funniest thing how it must have made it through all those people to get put on the back of the box.
Quality control, man. Falling asleep at the wheel.
Why was it not an OnlyFans site, though? I don't understand that. I digress. I'm sticking with my 58 million. Travis, do you disagree? Give me your number for the weekend. Open new number.
But you're so right on the everyone loves the Wizard of Oz and everything else. But I feel like with everything with it, that one I would go 34 million.
Nice number.
Because you have that competing. I would definitely give it like 34 million.
Hayden?
75.
Wow.
Damn.
You didn't even blink.
I don't think any of that's going to matter. I really don't. I think this is the movie. I agree with Christopher. This is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year. It may even hit, up 80 plus, but I'm going to go 75. This thing's got legs through the holidays. I don't care how bad it is. People are going to go see it and go back and go back and go back.
But we're only counting the opening weekend though, right?
That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to have a massive opening weekend.
Last film, and Travis, you get to go first with this one. Long-awaited sequel. Gladiator 2.
I want to see this bad.
Shit,
I
I
really
want to
do.
see this.
Which
I know they're going to have
competing
my
against
money.
Wicked, by the way. It is competing opening
Mhm.
weekend versus Wicked, so
It's a heavyweight fight right there.
it is. But
But it's
also-
it's R-rated though, so yeah.
right.
It's R-rated. It's going to be all the dads and all the guys want to go see it. So naturally, it's not going to hold up to a family film. I would easily say, last good, 25 million. I have faith for 25 million.
Hayden, you want to go next, or you want me to take it?
You could go.
It's a tough one because, again, it is R-rated. That's a good point. Pedro Pascal, Denzel Washington, I don't think either one of them are as big as the original action star was for this at the time, Russell Crowe. But the trailers do look good. They do look promising. It looks like it's going to deliver on what they want. I almost want to go higher because it's a holiday. It's like the weekend before a holiday. But again, we're going just strictly opening weekend. 25 is a good guess. Do I go a little bit higher or do I go a little bit lower? And do I have Hayden come in and behind me and elbow me? I'm gonna go 27 and a half. That's what I'm gonna do. I'll go 27 and a half.
50.
Wow.
Damn.
You know,
On
you
an
could have gone
R-rated?
28 and just made yourself a safe bet there. That's you could have done.
When it hits 50 on the money, or when it hits 55, and then I go, see. I think it's going to have a big weekend too. This is going to be a massive movie weekend. We're going to start to see Wicked. I mean, Red One we all know that's going to bomb. Okay. But people are going to see it. Wicked is going to be there. Gladiator is going to be there. And I agree that's going to be, okay, mom and the daughters, you go see Wicked. I'm going to see Gladiator. All right. That's what I want to see. All right. It's overdue sequel. I would have never guessed this movie would have got a sequel. But man, the trailers look good. And every now and then, you know, Ridley Scott is kind of just like a movie factory at this point in his career, doing 1+ movies a year. Every now and then, I think he's still got it. I'm hoping he's got it. He's got, you know, some good actors in this thing. But the trailers look good. And that, you know, they could have very easily been like, oh God, this really, why? But they got me interested.
20 years later. Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to turn it into a sequel. And I love me some Denzel. Let's be real. Who doesn't? Pedro Pascal, I loved him as his character in Game of Thrones up until the most epic ending of a character. But let's be real. Russell Crowe, are you not entertained? Like, you just can't go out there. It makes your heart rate just thinking about that line. My heart's elevated just thinking about it.
Travis, are you appearing anywhere before we coming up? You have any events or anything that you want to promote?
I just did my last open mic for at least next couple weeks, just because of I do have at the Expo Center on the 7th. They're doing a pop-up horror event. So anyone New Jersey bound, it's going to be a great time. It's at the Expo Center in
Edison.
What is that? That's Edison, New Jersey. And that's it on my current roster for the moment. I was supposed to shoot a movie later this month. However, something happened with the director, so they asked to push it back into the new year. I respect that because, you know, family health, it matters. You know, delays in productions happen. So that's the only thing currently on my roster.
Okay. And that, again, is the Horror Sideshow Market for New Jersey HorrorCon that Travis will be appearing at December 7th in Edison, New Jersey. Stop on by. Come see him. Grab an autograph. Very talented comedian. He's also going to be appearing in Crimson Harvest. Hey, where have we heard that before?
Yeah, I will be wearing the shirt across my chest. Don't worry.
Yeah. Travis, you're more than welcome to stick around for the news. Hayden, do you want to any last thoughts?
No, that's it. Thank you guys for joining us. If you liked what you saw here, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, thank you for tuning in. We're going to be back very short break with the funny and weird news stories for the past 2 weeks. Again, thank you for joining us. Have a good night.